you're a home buyer, somebody or a young person looking to buy a home, you need a bit of a reset.
There is a possibility on the other side of this that inflation could actually be quite low.
Got that? You guys, welcome back to Real Estate Mindset. Today's video is going to be absolutely bonkers. I had to take a break from what I was doing to talk about what's going on around America and how institutional investors are absolutely destroying the American dream for everyday Americans just like you and I. And here's the real problem, you guys. If you look back at the peak of investment market share, investors were purchasing per quarter over 18% of total real estate. That is a massive problem, you guys. Now, a lot of people and a lot of data has come out that has basically said that institutional investors and investors in general are not investing in the housing market as much. But the situation is, guys, it's not that they're not investing as much, but the thing is what they're investing in is affordable housing. So it's still a huge problem because maybe they're not doing mid-size houses, but the most affordable housing is horrible because that's most of the inventory stock we need. America right now, obviously, guys, has an unaffordability problem. So the fact that recent data shows investor market share is 26% of total affordable housing. You guys, that's live data. That's recent data of what's going on right now. So even though, yeah, there's quantitative tightening of 2 years, that's not enough to properly curb investor demand in the housing market. And it's not just institutional investors. Now, you guys, obviously, you can see here, I did take you guys all the way to Florida. I am land-based shark fishing. It's catch and release, all conservation. I think we're hooked up right now, so I may need to pause this video. But regardless, you guys, for all this effort, if you can, let me know you're still there. Like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, shoot me a comment below. And either way, you guys, I hope you enjoy this video. You know, guys, I guess what I'm really trying to say is something needs to change. And this is going to be a video of hope because something is changing. And that change is finally starting, and it's starting in my home state of Texas. Now, we'll review an article titled Government Greg Abbott wants the Texas legislator to rein in investors behind large-scale home purchases. Now, there are many issues with the housing market. Institutional investing in SFRs is a big problem. A lot of people say there's only 3, 4, 5% of total housing stock that goes towards to institutional investors, but that's still a lot of housing stock. And most of the housing stock, guys, don't forget, is in high concentration areas. So they have a lot of it in just a few areas. Nevertheless, though, mom and pops also have way too much real estate. And so the question is like, how much is too much? I'm okay with like people having only one house. If you got more than one house, you're taxed more on it, right? So maybe something like that, but regardless, solution is what we want to talk about today. And so we'll dig into that. But before I end this, what do you guys think about this scene? I mean, look at where I'm at. You guys, I had to go here to something like this because, quite frankly, I needed to take a break. Don't forget to take a break. Obviously, you got to have a lot of patience when waiting for house prices to become more affordable. And, you know, and being in the data too much is not always a good thing. And so I've taken you guys here. I'm really hoping you guys are going to enjoy the rest of this. Seriously, guys, I absolutely love it here. But let's jump into the article. Now, the article points out that Governor Greg Abbott called on state lawmakers Friday to try to stop Wall Street's presence in the Texas housing market. And real quick, you guys, I hope the sound of the ocean doesn't interfere. I'll get another scene after reading this, but listen to that. Super calming, right? Back into the article. As the nation's housing affordability crisis continues, unabated, lawmakers and housing advocates have increasingly concentrated scrutiny on so-called institutional home buyers, meaning investors big and small, as well as corporations who buy single-family homes to rent them out. They accuse corporations and hedge funds of playing an outsized role in the home buying market and outbidding would-be first-time home buyers, even though estimates show investors only owe a small percentage of the nation's overall housing stock. And so again, how can a normal, everyday consumer compete with Wall Street? I mean, seriously, guys, comment below. I want to know what you think. To me, you can't really do that. It's not fair. I mean, I struggle just to get normal consumers just to pay attention to what an interest rate is, what an amortization schedule is. Now they potentially have to represent themselves when buying a house. You're asking for a lot, you're putting a lot of weight. Now, again, I think consumers can handle change like this, but when you put in Wall Street in that mix, it becomes almost an impossible game. But let me know what you guys think so far with what the article is pointing out. A spike in investor activity in the housing market in the COVID-19 pandemic era has since prompted lawmakers to try to curtail and even ban it, as it means to bring down home prices and give first-time home buyers a leg up in the market. Abbott joined the fray Friday. Now, honestly, guys, big props to Texas. So hopefully Texas continues to lead the way. Hopefully we have our hero when it comes to curbing institutional investment out of the housing market. Again, I don't know, big hill to climb. Obviously there's greed, corruption, and fraud, so it's probably a long journey, but obviously it's nice to know that people are starting to talk about it and it's starting to become mainstream. Let me know what you guys think so far. Let's jump back into the article. This is the governor. I strongly support free markets. So it's important to understand that, because this is really kind of a double-edged sword, because people don't want the government to come in and re-regulate and take away our freedoms, which is totally understandable. But on the other hand, you have, again, corruption, greed, and fraud. So at what point do you need government intervention? I mean, seriously, ask yourself that question, because I understand all of those points, but are you saying that we don't have an issue with institutional investors in our housing market? Let me know what you guys think. Let's jump into the article. But, and here's the but part, but this corporate large-scale buying of residential homes seems to be distorting the market and making it harder for the average Texan, and hopefully this will be American eventually, but for now, the average Texan, to purchase a home. This must be added to the legislation agenda to protect Texas families. And again, we want that Texas to be replaced with, obviously, Americans, because this is a nationwide problem. It's not just isolated in Texas. Investors ramped up their home purchasing noticeably during the pandemic, when interest rates were at historical lows. Texas in particular was a major hotbed for investor activity in the home buying market, as demand for housing skyrocketed amid the state's robust growth. Texas led the nation in home purchases by investors in 2021, unfortunately. According to the National Association of Realtors, 28%, again, you guys, 28% of all homes sold that year went to an institutional investor in the state of Texas. 28%. Now, it says institutional investor. That just probably means investors, not just institutional investors. If it's specifically institutional investors, can you guys imagine? I mean, how much time do we have to become homeowners before corporations are going to own every single housing unit? I mean, is this stuff not disturbing? Again, thank goodness we have someone talking about it, seeking change. Real Estate Mindset, check it out, man. It was an absolute pleasure talking to you. I'm glad you understand that America has a spending problem with the dollar deficit spending. It's an absolute pleasure, man. I mean, good people are around you guys. That's why I always say, if you have anxiety, if you're stressed about the housing market, think of someone other than yourself and start serving some people, right? Have a relationship. Relationships are probably one of the most important things in life. In my opinion, not trying to get all mushy. Let's jump back into the article. The figures of 28% prompted state lawmakers last year to try to rein in this type of investment. Now, Texas lawmakers approved a bill to commission an annual report from the Texas Real Estate Research Center at Texas A&M University to track institutional buyers' moves in the state housing market. So they're doing something about it, but not enough, and Abbott vetoed that bill. Part of a rash of vetoes he used to pressure then-wearing Republicans legislators to agree on a massive property tax cut package. And honestly, you guys, I remember that package because I'm in Texas. Remarkable package. He actually, depending on where you are, obviously I'm not a CPA, consultant, attorney, but the governor got us basically $100,000 off on our assessed value. So for example, my tax rate is 3.5%. So if I save $100,000, that's $3,500 a year. He just saved me. So again, he kind of put this on pause. He's helping homeowners in that way, and hopefully he'll make his way back to this legislation and he will get them out of the housing market and the rest of America follows. We can only hope. Let's dig back in. Economists and housing experts questioned Friday whether limiting investors from buying and owning homes would improve the housing market and really benefit first-time homebuyers. And I'm going to just say, obviously, yes. Institutional investors' share of single-family homes in some parts of the country can be high, research says, but it's unclear how much they distort the overall housing market. An estimate from Brookings Institution pegs institutional investor share of the nation's single-family rental stock at 3%. So again, I don't care if it's 1%. Don't buy SFRs. Build apartments. And I do think it absolutely is going to help first-time homebuyers, especially in the areas heavy in institutional investing like Texas. Limiting or barring institutional investors from purchasing homes who then rent out their homes would mean fewer rental units overall. So they're playing this, oh, well, then the rental market's going to be horrible. That could potentially bar renters who tend to have lower incomes from living in wealthier neighborhoods with access to better school districts and job opportunities, she said. So yeah, you know what? She's got a point, right? Let's just steal and profit off of the American dream of home ownership. Are they really making that point right now? Are they really concerned about renters when they should be concerned about renters purchasing the homes that they want to buy? Shouldn't that be the real focusing point here? Let me know what you think. Institutional investors aren't buying as many homes as they did during the pandemic, but we do know that they are buying more affordable homes. So doesn't that make the problem even worse? Owing to high interest rates, investors with at least 1,000 homes in their portfolio made up 0.4% of US home purchases at the end of the fourth quarter last year, according to the figures provided by John Burns Research and Consulting, a firm that tracks the housing market. That's down from the peak of 2.4% in 2022. That trend was apparent in some parts of Texas. In the Dallas area, the number of investor purchases peaked in early 2022 at around 40,000 figures from John Burns data. At the end of 2023, those purchases had fallen to a little more than 20,000, in line with pre-COVID levels. Now, here's the thing about the rental market. I get it. But the good thing is we still have an overwhelming amount of apartments and inventory that's coming on the market in the rentals. The problem is, you guys, is we need them to come on the market right now. So there may be a little bit of pain coming back, in my opinion, to the rental market, but that will be eventually offset by the flood of apartments that continue to be completed. And from a historical aspect, you can see that here with new privately owned housing units under construction that are 5 units or more. And this goes back all the way to the 1970s. So, you know, again, I say, let's focus on the big issues here. One of the big issues, in my opinion, even if it's not institutional investors, it's medium-sized investors, even small investors. I myself, you guys, would sacrifice my goal of investing in real estate if it meant that everyone had an equal chance at becoming a homeowner first. In other words, I'm okay with owning just one home. I'm good with that. I don't need to own more than one home. So I say, take it away from everyone, help the home buyers out, help the new home buyers out, and let's bring balance back to the housing market. Now, obviously, there's a lot of things involved. I don't know exactly how that would work. I don't know exactly what to do. I know everyone has their hands full, and that's why I'm reaching out to you guys. Let me know what you think should happen in the housing market exactly when it comes to institutional investors. Should there be no government intervention, or is it time for the government to finally do something about what's happening in regards to investing in the housing markets? I really appreciate you guys watching the video. Obviously, again, you guys, take a look where I'm at. Absolutely beautiful. I'm glad that I can share a little bit about what I do for fun, how I stay balanced with you guys. You guys have absolutely changed my life. I'm so humbled. I am so blessed. I really hope I'm making you as strong as you're making me. Don't forget about the free home buying course. I'll be putting out some more data, some more videos. Don't miss the lives. The lives are filled with overwhelming value. At least that's what I try to do, and a market update. And other than that, guys, I really appreciate you. If you guys are out there investing in real estate, you guys already know I wish you luck, and I hope you win.